like that again. Wow.
I know.
It's amazing.
Well.
Amazing.
So I guess we should wish you a happy birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Tommy.
Happy birthday, Tommy.
Behind the
I
camera.
actually wish, no, do you guys ever look back and wish you were 19, 20?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
what's your
what
year?
age?
What's your year?
24.
Really?
I'm stuck at 24 up here.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what my age is.
Mine's 25. So yeah, we're pretty close. Yeah, I think so. At 30s, I think 30s now would be very difficult.
I don't know about going back, but I feel like I'm at that age in my head all the time. Like sometimes I'll look in the rearview mirror and I'll think, whose kids are these? Like someone left me in charge of other people? Like, how did this happen? And then I'll wonder when I'm going to feel like a grown up.
It's funny, I thought 40 would be, and leading up to it, it felt so hard. And that was just this past year, right? So 2017, this past year. I thought it was gonna be so hard and I was so disappointed and all this stuff. But on the day of, like, I just had a blast. Like, I just didn't even care. And the day it was over, I couldn't care less.
But
it's just
really,
that lead up.
But it's not, but it's just, it's all in your head, it's all in your mind.
I
Don't you
agree.
think?
I agree.
It is.
You know, I mean,
It
you
is.
are as old as you think you are,
Yes.
as you feel you are, you know, and there's so much of this now, the self-help and, you know, self-awareness. I think that's why, like, you know, the 40s are the new 30s and 20s. Yes, 20s, 20s.
let's
yes,
hope.
I know.
Let's
yeah, I know. But
Is that it?
feel
40s are the new 20s? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't
I'd say
know.
that.
I
well,
think
good for me.
20s are so great because it's the time where you get to really kind of decide what you're going to be, what you want to, how you want to frame your life, how you want to live your life, and what things you're going to, you know, pursue and try, and that's adventure, right? I think it's great.
And you know what? That hasn't changed. You know, like, okay, take for instance when you should have a child now. Like, that is all over the map.
It is.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
And you can have a child when you're 40, 45,
It's
50.
crazy though,
It doesn't
but,
matter.
but to think that people don't still have that mindset in their heads is
Yeah.
crazy, right?
Like
Like,
means that in terms of that it's over at a certain age.
oh
correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
For me, like, and I find this such a constant, and it's weird because like that undertone, right? It's no one. Look at for me, and you guys know, I'm super down with you coming and saying stuff to my face. We were just talking about swearing.
Swearing. Yeah.
Oh, well, you know,
We were just talking about how it's like every second word for some people. Not me, of course,
Some.
and not her. But yeah, like, and even just the, you know, if you're single and you're like single, no kids, never, like, that's insane. People are just, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, no, nothing. I've
I
actually
know.
done other things.
I don't know. Okay, so maybe it's just me, but when I meet somebody who's single, doesn't have any kids, I'm just like, what's that like? I'm just like, that sounds amazing. I'm like, you get to go and do whatever you want, whenever you want. Not that I don't, you know, like my choices in life. They're my choices, right? I wanted to have 3 kids. I wanted to do this. But it's just like you have freedom. You have the ability to do whatever you want. Your passport's in your purse. We're going to, you know, Toronto this weekend. We're
And
going
you
to
see that.
Los
I mean,
Angeles.
I'm
You get
definitely
to do-
utilizing the freedom.
There are perks, you
Yeah.
know, and there are perks to any choice that you make, right?
No, that's totally true.
Yeah.
Oh,
But everyone wants to be on the other side, right?
I know.
So the grass is
True.
always greener on the
True.
other side.
Yes.
Like we were
We're
talking about
never
this straight hair,
satisfied.
curly hair nonsense, right? It's the same. It's the same. It's the same
You
conversation.
straighten your hair, but I want curly hair. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if anybody has beautiful hair in this weather. I mean, we can't complain.
No,
Poolside.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's warm, but you know
There'll
what?
be feet of snow here before we know
I
it.
know,
So, yeah.
I know. We were just in Toronto and it was like 43 out. And like even the patios at the restaurants were closed down. And you know, it's for the servers' sake, but it's just people in general, like that heat. And I guess too, because they're a city of concrete,
Yes.
right? You're
Oh, yeah.
downtown and it just kind of
Rises.
just
Well, and plus with the
rises.
water, right?
Yes.
Like the humidity is just off the charts. Yeah.
Oh, I know. So I have a question for you. We were in Toronto for my girlfriend's special birthday. So, I mean, this was complete with
How fun.
invitations and everything. So, you know what? I kind of sidebar this. You know, cheers to Shayna in Miami.
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
she's having heat too. Woo.
I know. And if she's watching us on Facebook Live, hi Shayna. We miss you. But anyways, you know, what she does is rebrand people and, you know, fashion us. Well, she fashioned us and fashioned her clients. So we're going to Toronto, right? Figure, we got to be ready for people that just dress to the nines.
Right.
So we get the invitation. It says semi-formal required
Okay.
or semi-formal only. So what does that mean to you?
That is a good question. And I think that you're right in the sense that it probably depends on where you
Where-
are when you get
exactly.
that invitation, right?
Okay,
Agreed.
so this is at, you know, the most prestigious private club. So
Okay, so
kind
I
of
would.
think,
I would
you
be
know,
tie.
I would
at
probably
minimum
go-
a tie with a suit jacket, right?
Yeah,
I would go
yeah.
as close to formal as possible.
possible,
then.
yeah, agreed.
So yeah,
So,
but I like to glam it up too, so that's
well,
kind of
I
fun.
know, and
But that's
the
was that
women, we
that
get
was
it.
for men or for women?
For well,
Or everyone.
For
For
everyone.
everyone.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so we know, like, at least like a beautiful cocktail
Yeah.
dress,
Even
or,
if you're
or
doing a
you
black
could wear,
dress, bling it up.
or long.
Yes.
Anyways, so it wasn't so much the women, but the guys calling our friends saying, "Well, I've got this really, really good, you know, sports coat. Can I wear this?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, it said on the invite, shirt and tie, a suit. Like
Yeah.
you would think a suit."
Right.
But so we go there, and still 3 guys don't have ties on, and so they had to get ties. But it was
Yes.
really funny, and you know, it's a whole commentary on fashion. And to boot, I think Winnipeggers look just as sharp when going to some place.
So
Oh,
here's the
totally.
question too, and maybe
Yeah.
it's a generational thing because depending on
Oh, yeah.
what age the birthday was, that tells
know.
me that this was
Yes.
probably an older
Yes.
group,
Yeah.
which is why they put that on the invitation because they know the crowd that's coming,
Yeah,
right?
they
Yeah.
would have known.
Yeah, because I think in Winnipeg, I would not necessarily expect to see a semi-formal note on an invitation. I see
Yeah.
business casual all the time.
I see biz casual.
But
all
business
the
casual
know.
means different things to different people
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's interesting that they would, you know, make their
Yeah.
wishes known and still have people coming back and saying, well, what does that mean? And what do I wear?
I
Yeah, it's
know.
kind of
Yeah, especially in the six,
Yeah.
as it were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, so it was quite funny, but in the end, there was you know, all the drama was sort of settled on that end.
Yeah.
So here's another question. Again, so this birthday was really like their wedding. They never did have a formal
Oh,
wedding
that's
party
really
in the sense that
nice.
that's how, you know, the tables, the settings, the flowers. It was beautifully decorated. She had like the table poster board
Beautiful.
with all the names.
Wow.
So again, like they could only have a certain amount of guests.
Yes.
And all the invites and the RSVPs came back. Not even 24 hours before the big party, a text came, "Can I bring a date?"
Yes.
A date.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Well, needless to say, the birthday or the bride, she was like off, like she was off her rocker. Thank God I
Right.
was there, but I didn't like, and
Yes.
she kept asking me, so I don't want another. Well, what do you
Yes.
do?
So
Yeah.
here's my answer for that. This is why hiring party planners and event planners
Is the key.
is the key
Yeah.
because they are the buffer between the rogue guest and the guest of honor.
Yeah.
And it should not be up to your friend to tell that
To tell her
person,
own friend, most likely.
thank
Yes.
you,
Yeah.
that no, sorry, your request is out of order and we can't honor that at that time. That makes the event planner, that's her job or
Yeah.
his job.
And
to go,
imagine the tension.
bad
yeah.
cop, you
between
know,
the
like,
friends,
yeah,
right?
you know,
it's just
like-
it's awkward.
It is awkward, and
know.
and as the party host, you always feel bad, you know, enforcing
Exactly.
these things. But it's like, yeah, but
Exactly.
we have a budget. The caterer has numbers
know.
already.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So what did she say?
Well, eventually it all worked out,
Okay.
and they did bring the date and
Okay.
everything like that. But
Right.
I don't think I would do that.
I definitely would
never.
not do that.
At
Never.
like a totally invited event.
No,
Never.
never,
Never.
I would be so embarrassed to even request that. Like I just
Right.
would be, what
So
kind of
here's the
a-hole am
deal
I?
then. Have we all lost our scruples? Are there no scruples? There is just, well, whatever. You know, we could have had like a barbecue and a buffet. Then it's okay.
Yeah.
Bring whoever. But
Yes.
have we just lost it?
Yeah, I think to some extent people just are not as rigid as maybe they once were. And I think a lot of people are super casual about a lot of things, right? And I also think it depends on that relationship.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if that was one of my best friends at the last minute who's saying, "Oh my God, I got a date at the last minute," I'd be like, "All right, bring it over. Like I'm mad. We will deal with this later. But come
Yeah,
on,
no.
right?" Because you understand that scenario or whatever it is. But I think it's just people are just less rigid, and then the
Yeah.
ones who are overly rigid. I mean, let's just all take a breather. Me and Susie were talking about this earlier. People just need to
Yeah,
Bring it down.
Yeah.
bring it down a
Yeah.
few hundred notches.
And I
you
also
know.
think, you know, there's a lot of times too that people seem to mistakenly think that it's about them all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I think,
entitlements.
you know, yeah,
yes.
so even, you know, like for the party, I'm sure there were people who didn't RSVP in time that she
Yes.
had to reach out to and say, are you coming?
Yeah.
You know, things like that, right? So I think that people sometimes lose sight of the fact that everything is not about them, and that sometimes they do have to carry on the pieces of the social contract that we still have
Yeah.
with each other, which is the niceties and the politeness and the, you know, giving people respect, of letting them know if you're going to be able to attend, and if you're not, that's fine too. But please let the
Just say the
host know
word.
so
Yeah,
they can
tell
make
them.
other plans, or
Totally.
you know, fill a seat, you know, with a date or
Yeah.
wherever it might be, right? Yeah.
No, I think
The
so.
courtesies kind of go out the window sometimes, and I think that it's the common courtesies that really make everything smoother for everyone else.
Well, I mean, and you try to instill that in your children too. And I mean,
Yes.
it's the whole thing too. You're in that whole time and frame of birthday parties,
Yes.
and you just had them and
Yes.
everything like that, and you know, and
And I've been the
It's so-
person to
yeah.
RSVP late because, you know, the invitation was buried in the back
Oh,
of the
yeah.
backpack,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
they'll come to me and say, "Did you RSVP to so-and-so's mom for tomorrow?" And I'm like, "What?
Oh, what? I didn't
What
even know
for
that was
tomorrow?"
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like, again, with the less casual feel,
Yeah.
Yeah.
moms and parents are a bit more totally fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. Come on by. We just love to have you. No pressure, kind of thing. Yeah. And but you know, with a semi-formal event invitation, you kind of have to step
and
up your game.
there's a dollar amount attached to each
Yeah.
place, right?
Yes.
And again, you
Well,
know,
I know. So-
that's the other part of
anyways,
it.
I
It's-
just found
it's
this
just
very,
true.
very funny and petty for, you know, it's Toronto, and I thought, oh wow, this is going to be, but no, you know, it's
But
always
it
the
happens.
same.
It happens
think
all
it
the
does
time,
happen.
you know.
Yeah,
and
it does.
Yeah.
But again, you know, we were just talking about this earlier. Look, there's a lot of stuff going sideways in this world right now.
I know.
So I
This
think,
is the least of it.
yeah, you know, and I think that just to be open and understanding that no, not everything's about you, but everyone has life situations, and sometimes things just happen. So I
Yeah.
think it's that balance of having that empathy and that compassion, and you know, almost that love for understanding that at the end of the day, it is just a gathering of people that you cared about,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
you
And it's-
truly only
yeah.
just wanted them there because they meant something to you.
Yeah.
And all the pettiness that comes before and after is just so social, and it's such a construct of something that is
And it
so
was. Yeah.
fake,
Yeah.
right? You wanted it, and that's great, but at the end of the day, like, just be happy that you had friendships, that people cared enough to be with you, and they were empathetic to come in from wherever, like you came from Winnipeg to Toronto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the celebratory
So
part. That's the
here's-
happy part.
Another interesting observation. I'm just, you know, putting it out there too. So it did. It ended up being a beautiful, beautiful event. But afterwards, you kind of obviously think about what happened and everything like that, and what did you like about it, blah, blah, blah. We were talking about it. But it gave a really clear perspective. If you had to do that event over again, who would you invite?
Right.
And you
Oh,
really,
yeah.
it was time to really see, and I think we'll all have those moments in our lives, who our true friends are.
Right, right. I was
And
thinking about that
I-
the other day too,
and I-
because
and
my
I-
girlfriend
yeah.
had a wedding anniversary recently, and I thought, you know, if I do my wedding list again, I wonder if I'd have the same people on it. Do you think
Yes.
you'd have the same people on your list, like?
You know, and
Or
regardless,
birthday
yeah,
party
or
list,
regardless
you know,
whether
20th
there's,
versus
yeah,
30th
no,
party, or
yeah.
40th
I
party
think
versus
even
50th
know,
party.
in
I
the past
know,
6
I know.
months, I think I could see. You know what though? Just on that note though.
Yeah.
Okay, so the people I feel who are like your rider, you know, I call them my ride or dies, right? Like they're the
Yeah.
people who I like no matter
know,
what.
got your back.
They've got my back. So you know,
Yeah.
my high school girlfriends, so Shauna, Leanne, Robin, all of my girls who I love very much. You know, for them, we could talk for a year, we could engage with each other for a year, and we could not have a conversation for 5 years.
And
pick up exactly where we left off. And I
Exactly.
think that's such a meaningful quality to have
Yes.
in a friendship.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
nothing riding on that, right? It is
No.
just, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that the real fortunate ones are the ones who have those people, you know? And I'm
Yes.
really lucky I have groups of those people, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have different groups of girlfriends and friends who just, they mean the world to me, but I also know that I would have called them 10 years ago, and I'd probably call them 100 years from now.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
they're just solid,
And
right?
how do you maintain that though, right? Or
But
and
it-
how do you get rid of
okay.
the riffraff that, you know?
No, because I just don't engage. I don't care. I
Yes,
literally
you
do
learn.
not care.
Yeah, and you learn by
Yeah.
behavior. Like you learn by who's there for you and who is able to step up. And, like another girl from mine posted yesterday, I've just discovered that I only have 5 people in the entire world that I trust. And I said, I think that number is actually kind of high.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like one of those things.
Is that
where
high though?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Who's going to bail you out of jail? Who's going to help you bury a body? And who's going to help you?
Am I a weirdo?
I don't know.
Like,
What
I
do you
kind of
think?
feel like I'm maybe a bizarro. I can think of literally 10 people I would trust with my entire
That's too
life.
high.
Maybe
Too
you
hard
have to
for
give
me.
them a test then, Rhonda.
No, and these are people I would say that have been through the
Yeah.
ringer. Like, I feel like they have been,
Yeah.
just with my personal life. Like, I feel like they
Yes.
have been kind of
Well,
with
then
me
that's
for a lot.
beautiful. That's great.
Like, that's
you're
crazy.
fortunate.
I
I have 3.
Really?
Does that include your kids and your
No, because I wouldn't put that responsibility on them.
No.
But
Yeah.
I think it's like 3 tops.
Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking about kids, oh my goodness. I mean, okay, it's been they call it, the Thailand miracle.
Oh, yeah.
With those 12 boys and the coach
Amazing.
and the rescue people involved, and you're hearing now all the stories. But did you follow it or?
So we kind of chatted before, and I actually didn't follow a lot of it voluntarily. So I saw it come through my, Facebook
Well,
newsfeed, Twitter, and
yeah.
stuff like that. But I didn't click and read on a lot of the stories because, as I was saying, I feel right now, especially this year, this month, I am so emotionally stressed with everything else that's going on in the world right now that I don't have enough bandwidth to apply to another tragedy and or emotion, something that's going to take another thing out of me. Like, I go to bed thinking about all the children who are not sleeping next to their mamas, in the world or whatever it might be. And it literally breaks my heart before I go to bed, and I wake up thinking about my beautiful children who are lucky enough to live in this country and live, with all the fortunate things that they have. And I think to myself, it's not fair, and
Right.
I just feel so heavy these days with all of this sadness. And so I didn't voluntarily seek out the stories, but when I heard the final, triumph of the, rescuers, I thought, oh gosh, this is so great. And then I cried for their parents and for everybody else. But, it was interesting to see the difference in terms of the stories that were coming out about how they survived and the meditation and the coach that they had. And it was just like, what a group effort, what
Absolutely.
a
Oh, it
group
was.
effort.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine how their lives have been changed.
I
I
don't know.
assume forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we were talking about that before. And I think that there was this, and I didn't see a lot of it actually, and I appreciated the fact that we didn't see a lot of blaming the coach.
Right.
Yes. I just think that it's neither the time
Not
or the
helpful.
place, and they survived in it because of teachings that he knew. Like, so he
Yeah.
had whatever teachings that he knew. He knew how to meditate. He was able to teach them how to meditate. So, if it was going to happen, they were probably with the best person it could have happened with. Is
In
really
order
the thing.
to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you, I have a hard time. I have a hard time looking to other places. Right? I have a hard time looking to other tragedies when our own backyard is just a disaster, right? So, like they just cut the Greyhound buses, so that's obviously just devastating for people who are in northern or remote communities
yes,
trying to
I
get back
know.
into the city for whatever reason. It's completely dangerous. So there's all these other issues. You have so many kids in care, and every single day those kids are not sleeping with their mothers, right? So for me, I have a very difficult time not looking at our own backyards first, right?
know.
And all taking responsibility for what we are doing as a
No.
country, and I definitely would always join in the triumphs of any like just humanity. Good stuff in
Yes.
humanity is
And I guess,
always
yeah.
for celebration, and bad stuff for humanity should always kind of invoke this.
Let's do something.
Let's do something
Yes.
about compassion, but
Yes.
if you're not going to do it in your own backyard, but we're going to look to other places, I struggle with that. And I know it's not the most popular view or whatever it is. That's just the way I think now, just knowing, right? Like when you know stuff, it's really hard to,
Yeah. I mean,
turn on the
it's-
TV and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, which we are sorry. And I'm not saying that, it's a huge triumph, but
You can be mad about everything.
yeah, we can be mad about everything, and we can be
No,
happy
and
about
you're, and
everything.
you're right. There's just so much angriness and so much unfairness. It's just, and people trying to make a right from a wrong. I don't know. It's just all very confusing, this whole thing in the States
Oh,
with
don't
the
get us
border
started on
at the
that.
border. It's
It makes my heart heavy. Let's put it
yeah,
that way, all the time.
and it's scary to see where it could lead. It starts here, but
Yeah.
where is it going to go?
Well, we've seen it in
And
history.
yeah, and
Like,
that's
this
the
isn't-
hard part.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be the next. And when you know what comes after
Whatever
that.
big tragedy
Yeah.
that's occurred that we talk about today, and
Yeah.
you know, say stuff like "never again." I mean, come on,
Oh, I
right?
know.
Like we're watching it unfold in front of
Yeah.
our eyes. So anyone during whatever moment, and we've all gone through those campaigns where everyone was just like, you know, never again. It's never going to happen again, and
Well, my son's
whatnot.
reading Anne Frank's diary right now.
Oh wow.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
Yeah.
he's trying to understand, you know, what that is. And I think to myself, like, how do I explain like all of this stuff? And I try to think back, like, when did I learn about all of these things in
Yeah.
history, and how did I process that? Because I don't remember asking my parents about it, but I'm sure I did. And you just
I know. I
you
don't
struggle
remember it
to
at all.
explain
Yeah.
to a child how these things are possible when the grown-ups
Yeah.
are supposedly in
Well,
charge.
and the
Yeah.
sad part of it is that, oh well, this is kind of like what's happening over here right now, and
It's so difficult to explain.
yeah, I mean it's really hard.
Yeah, and kids are smart, you
Yes,
know, and
they
kids are
are.
incredibly intuitive.
So,
it's-
anyways,
it's just as if they don't know.
yeah,
Like I feel like they don't know how to articulate what they're actually feeling, probably.
Right.
But I'm sure that they have a sense of I'm not sure if that's right or wrong.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
so are you ready to go in the pool?
Yes.
Yeah, it is incredibly hot.
So
All right, so I'm gonna refreshen our drinks.
Okay.
And
I'm actually jumping in the pool.
oh right, and oh yeah, and it is the anniversary of Family Feud. So
Oh, is it?
yes, you have to check out the bloopers, the famous bloopers on Family Feud.
Okay.
So
that
yeah,
like
you guys
all
talk
the
about
years?
all the years.
Love
Yes,
it.
yeah.
That
like,
is
so.
really
What's your
funny.
favorite game show? I'm just gonna go. So talk.
My favorite game show. Price is Right was always a hit in my house.
I don't know. I don't know if I was into
Oh.
Supermarket Sweep.
Okay,
Do you remember Supermarket
Barely.
Sweep? Okay, that was,
Was
a
that
good
a
one.
Canadian TV?
That I
game
believe
show?
it was.
Okay. Okay.
And I only thought about Supermarket Sweep because my
Here we go.
oh, am I gonna have grapes?
Yes. Oh no.
I'm on keto. I'm on keto. I'm over it. No.
Do
no.
not make grapes the enemy.
One grape, and you have to do 20 laps.
People are
okay?
watching. We do not. No. I want to count my carbs today. Properly.
I'm gonna
Go
have
ahead.
a grape.
Yeah,
Okay, go
Absolutely.
for it.
ahead. All right.
Yes,
And
please.
watermelon.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna leave this here with you girls.
Perfect.
All right.
All right. Right. The taunt.
Yeah,
The
taunt,
tease.
taunt.
Oh, I don't know if that's gonna stay.
It
Oh,
will.
there it will. Perfect.
That looks really pretty.
Perfect.
So so Dave, who works in my office, or he's part of my law office. I don't know if I can say this because I don't know if he actually gave away the present yet. But anyways, he's the one who reminded me of Supermarket Sweep.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
I like Jeopardy. Still
Oh,
do.
Jeopardy was good.
Yeah.
Jeopardy was good.
My dad and I used to watch that all the time together. All the time.
Jeopardy. So the funniest one was listening to the Family Feud bloopers. So name a famous animal named Willie. Willie the Pooh?
Ah!
It's just like, if you were a burglar, what's your worst nightmare that you would, if you're breaking into the house, what's your worst nightmare? Seeing naked grandma? These are
That's
like,
really funny.
it's like
It's amazing what people
hysterical.
will say under stress.
Oh, I know. Amazing.